Our next session explores the technology and innovation being used in the fight against serious and organised crime. Lynne Owens was appointed Director General of the National Crime Agency in 2016, following a 27-year career as a police officer serving in three forces: the Met, Kent Police and Surrey Police. The NCA leads the UK's fight against serious and organised crime by optimising intelligence, investigating those offenders operating at the high end of high risk, and developing and hosting new capabilities to respond to rapidly changing threats. Lynne was awarded the Queen's Police Medal in 2008 and a CBE for services to policing and criminal justice in 2015. Lynne, delighted you can join us today. Over to you.
Delighted to be with you, Greg. I hope that I can give you the same level of enthusiasm that Joe is, albeit you won't see me lifting any dumbbells as I sit here with you this morning. So probably worth just saying to your listeners what serious and organised crime is first. Serious and organised crime we categorise in three broad areas. The first is probably what most people would think of serious and organised crime, most traditional trafficking of drugs, trafficking of firearms, trafficking of. Second area is those who target the vulnerable, really serious offences of child sexual abuse, modern slavery and human trafficking, and in many instances, those who target elderly victims. And then the third area is those who target the UK, its institutions. That's often cybercrime, cyber-enabled crime, or fraud. So that's what we think of when we think of serious and organised crime. And as Greg said in his introduction, our absolute determination is to protect the UK from serious and organised crime in all its forms. But we have to be innovative. The one thing that we do know about criminals is that they adapt. They adapt to technology, they adapt to the changing circumstances, and that has been no more evident than through this terrible global pandemic. So what have we seen? Why have we had to be innovative and adaptive during this period? Well, first thing to say is that people were scared. People were scared getting ill and getting the virus. So that meant fraudsters were operating online. They were creating links to malware. So when people were clicking to try and protect themselves, they were taking themselves through enterprises. The second thing we saw, most disturbingly probably, is child abusers who operate on the dark web, and indeed in some instances on the open web, were excited by the thought of more children being at home and online. So we had to operate at speed. The most important thing we did actually in that period was to up our vision, up our technology scrutiny in that area. But we also had brilliant people in the National Crime Agency putting out preventative messages, preventative packages for parents and carers to work on with their children at home. So innovation happens in a couple of ways for me. It happens through technology. Equally importantly, it happens through people, the brilliant people we employ. So I just want to touch on a couple of areas. So on child abuse, just worth reflecting that we receive referrals from industry. So when social media companies and others come across indecent images of children on computers, they refer them to the National Crime Agency. And we had about 114,000 referrals from industry last year, 14,000 separate images. So we have to innovate. We have to be able to prioritise the referrals, rapidly assess where the greatest risks exist. And that has meant we have developed really, really modern capabilities, the detail of which I won't go on here, so that we can make the right referrals to policing. And that has meant in the last year, between ourselves and policing, we've made significant numbers of arrests, significant numbers of children protected. Some of that, the stuff I've just talked about, is on the open web, but we same on the dark web too. So in 2019, 3.45 million accounts were registered globally across the 10 most harmful child abuse dark web sites. That's nearly a 20% increase on the preceding years. But we have grown modern capability to understand what is happening on the dark web. And in this year, that's led to us sharing intelligence with 70 countries, more than 450 operational packages, which to date have resulted in just over 90 arrests. And just to touch on one case study, as I know you are an audience that is interested in how this actually works in practice, on one website called Welcome to Video, we identified it was a marketplace which contained about 220,000 videos, 700,000 user accounts, and 2,700 of those had uploaded content. Through some bulk data analysis of the content and the payment regimes, we produced 450 arrest packages worldwide, with 25 of those high priority arrest subjects being here in the UK. And in some of those cases, sickeningly, it wasn't simply viewing the images. These cases often aren't simply viewing images. Children have been abused to create the images and to access the site in the first place. But there is more to do. I've talked obviously about child abuse. It's worth reflecting that only yesterday, an individual pleaded guilty to 96 charges as a result of some referrals that have been made. And of course, the big and live debate at the moment is the consequences of encryption. And in that instance, if he had been able to operate on an encrypted site, Facebook wouldn't have known about him and they wouldn't have been able to tell us. And let's see what happens when he's sentenced. Similarly, though, in a completely different area, we also have to look at cyber and cybercrime. And I don't tend to say too much in this area because I know we're running out of time, other than to say, as a bit of a plea to your audience, really, we really need a data competent investigative community. So the people that the National Crime Agency are looking to employ aren't simply those with a policing background. We want people who are very comfortable because we operate in a data-rich environment where people are producing data about themselves constantly via computers, via apps, via phones. And therefore, when we investigate, we use all those bits of information to join the dots. Does it on a Google Maps app match the person's phone match the locations of drugs exchanges? So building a data competent investigative community is really, really important to us. And those are the innovative skills we need for the future. So hopefully in that limited time we have together, being able to give you and your audience just a glimpse of the work that we are doing. But we are an agency that recognises serious and organised crime is now a global phenomena enabled by technology, which means that we need some of the best innovators here to conquer it. And we are, and we will. Thank you.